Right foot!
Thank you. And I also want to just start out by saying that by celebrating release, I want to release myself from some of the obligations of actually arguing against his position. I think we're all really interested in release. I mean, the strangest thing about the realm we now inhabit is not that it lies superimposed across the world where we once lived, like the laminated cover of all of our autopsy reports. I mean, it's strange but not a surprise. Being an apparition, as we are, is kind of like they always told us it would be, though I don't think any of us were expecting just how stereotypically spectral or phantasm-like our afterlives would be. No, I think the strangest thing of all is another kind of mundanity, one that's in plain sight and that we interact with all the time. And though I don't have any answers, I hope to demonstrate that our path forwards to release is not necessarily in the direction of the unknown, but perhaps treading through paths we've already worn out well and we have ignored in the past. Of course, there are arguments to be made that just being a phantom is the release. After all, if you listen to those Baptist hymns, you hear about laying your weary burden down, and there's no weariness if you don't have a body, right? I mean, hands up if you love being non-corporeal. Trick question. We don't have bodies, so we don't have hands. And yet we don't have hands. We can interact with the world. We got a world steered by these physical laws that have no power over us. We don't even have volume. We're equally at home haunting in a giant mine shaft, or breakdancing on the head of a pin, or we could be the pin in the same place at the same time as something else. And we could be faster than light. We could be anywhere. We could skip on a moonbeam, or spelunk through the tiny fissures in a fracking well, or ride alligators in the dreams of children, or just like that jump cut of Blue Velvet. We're just there. And even when not even time or distance or a thick stone can stop us from seeing what we want, you understand that I do that a little arrogance is understandable. We can actually see the celestial spheres. I mean, our brains are holding things we never could when we were alive. We can experience Earth's gravity tugging on the moon like it's a sister wanting to borrow a sweater. Or we can perceive the wide sheets of sizzling electrons fusing together the carbon atoms that provide the building blocks of the life we've lost. Shed of those needs for sleep or nourishment, our minds now work like perfect little porticos of shared wisdom, and every little episode of our memories has been restored back to us, sometimes painfully so, Epstein, I'm looking at you. And if the after, it's funny because it's funny. And then there's nothing funny about being dead. And if the afterlife worked like many of us in these religions thought on a moral basis, I would say that, that fact that it looks like we're ahead would be enough of a more reason that we shouldn't be at fault. But I think that one thing we realize is that it's even though it's not our fault that we have this obligation, if you look around us, we should be completely free. We're not beholden to these things, aside from maybe a promise we made in our past lives, or a special amulet with a charm or something. In general, ghosts are not being compelled by the physical world. But do you guys feel free? Because I see a lot of us acting very much like we are chained to our routines, and not like in a Jacob Marley kind of way. It's just no longer having the ambitions of life. Some of you, I think, are squandering death. You're haunting the same abandoned monastery near Damascus that you've been in since the 12th century, or you're spending all your time in that former saloon in Montana in the dark trying to cough faintly onto that staticky tape recorder of all those amateur ghost hunters. I mean, now, Linda, honestly, why do you keep smearing blood on those teenagers' mirrors? I mean, is it a suicide thing? Do you think you're preventing suicide? Because I think Chloe and Amber are both here because of you. There are no physical laws here, so why are we all trying to not break these laws? I think that, we actually, first of all, we have to follow the law of scanning. So Patrick Henry, is he here? In life, he thought that no man should ever endure the yoke of tyranny, and I wonder if you think that's still true. Because while we're free here, we don't even have a constitution, but as you noticed, there's no law, there's not even a God, because he hasn't shown up. So not only are you guys avoiding evil, though, as though you have to, you're also avoiding being good. You're not even really doing anything other than being. And of course, I can already hear some of you talking about how this might be merely purgatory. And so, what's wrong with killing time until the inevitable, be it heaven or hell, whatever? Eventually you'll just fade or dissipate until eventually your shadow has no shade left at all, and you'll go on to the next thing. And though no, you've never seen someone go through that transition, you have noticed that people disappear from time to time. And you've noticed that there's no caveman ghosts or Acadians or Greek hoplites, but there's still a lot of nuns and Nazis and Norma Jeans still around, so you assume that moving on to level 3 is based on seniority rather than some kind of social or spiritual merit. And maybe that is enough for you and you're satisfied, but before we leave today, I do want to challenge you to think about maybe 3 different things you haven't before. Number 1, the fact that there's not a single caveman or hoplite is suspicious. It makes a lot more sense to me that people might reincarnate than say that they're all gone down on the level playing field. Number 2, it does seem that if you look at the numbers, the people who practice Jainism, Buddhism, and Hinduism in life are underrepresented here. Could be an indicator that there's some component of their faith that hacks or bypasses the system. But then again, it could just be because, a lot of our numbers came from the 16th century cholera epidemic, so maybe they kind of escaped those a little bit. And finally, the fact that we have so many ghosts here of fighting bears and lions and white tigers and pink dolphins from the Amazon. There's no dogs though. Doesn't that mean something? On the one hand, I do incline towards maybe thinking that reincarnation has a validity, but you'd think all dogs must go to heaven, right? Not long ago when you were alive, you had these deep suspicions deep down that what you really wanted to be true, that you could be everywhere afterwards in life, and you could go scan around and you could see your grandparents and talk to Albert Einstein and watch people make love from the woods is true, and it all became real, despite the fact that it seemed the silliest thing in the world. And I just challenge you as corporeal spirits, non-corporeal spirits, that maybe when we're looking for an after, we should look for a release from this realm in the last place we'd expect to find heaven.